While everyone's been shitting bricks about the potential performance issues of Sameria, actually, near guaranteed performance issues, I've realised that Sameria is the best thing to happen to Arcane Odyssey so far. I'll go over potential flaws of the island in this video, but more importantly, just how goated it really is. So why is everyone in fear for their computer's life when Sameria comes out? If you haven't seen the sneak peeks posted by Vetex and are living under a mountain-sized rock, Sameria is absolutely gargantuan. Vetex himself described the island as World of Magic sized, which is no light comparison to make. World of Magic's continent Magius, while unfinished, was absolutely giant. It spanned thousands of studs in all directions, full of wilderness and its beautiful soundtrack accompanied by more animal noises than a furry meetup. But it was also notoriously unoptimized, due to its giant map and features. But I don't think Sameria would be as bad as World of Magic, and not without reason. When Vetex revamped World of Magic into Arcane Odyssey, he decided to tone down the destruction that WoM had, as you were able to collapse houses to rubble, and most infamously, the colossal prison the Silent Tower. When players would raid the Silent Tower, spawning dozens of Magic Council NPCs, it was like a player with 5-star notoriety in Ravenna, except all the NPCs are shooting at a tower with hundreds of parts, and when it collapses, everyone's PC is reduced to 10 FPS. Soon after falling though, parts would lock into place again, anchoring and bringing you back to 60 frames. So if you ever play the re-release of World of Magic, and wonder why your PC has just started shitting itself, look towards the Silent Tower. If you can see it falling, that's probably why. If you can't run 10 graphics though, just ask someone else to check for you. But aside from destruction, World of Magic had hundreds of NPCs in their map at any one time, and while Arcane Odyssey has its fair share of NPCs too, they're not nearly as abundant, nor do they all have their own AI to slow down the server. Every NPC in WoM had AI, meaning the server was running over 300 NPCs at once, which Arcane Odyssey just doesn't suffer from, since the majority of its NPCs are static, and most don't even have dialogue, and that's certainly something I'll miss about WoM, being able to go up to any person in their town as they go about their day, and see what they have to say. But anyway, Sameria doesn't have those issues, so it'll have better performance than WoM. But performance aside, I think it's going to be a blessing for everyone's gameplay, both PvEers and PvPers. Beginning with PvE, put simply, they just won't get spawn killed. Sameria is so huge, spawns in theory will be sped across it, so it won't be Ravenna, where you can just check the line between Rubica and Razna and find anyone that's just joined. You can leave the island or delve into the wilderness, and can choose to go into towns where nobody's waiting to gank PvE players. It's a much better situation for them. Quite like WoM in fact, people spread across a vast continent instead of a packed into one racetrack loop like Ravenna. And speaking of racing, PvE players can literally run anywhere. Unlike Ravenna, where like I said it's a simple looped racetrack, where it's easy to find people. But the big problem for PvE players though is treasure charts. They're gonna be hell, like literally impossible. You see people complain about Ravenna, sometimes Shell. Sameria is going to be huge. But moving on to how it'll affect PvPers. Due to how many people the Nimbus C update should bring back to Arcane Odyssey, there's a chance that the clan scene may be revived. And with the revival of clans comes clan wars. And we all know what Ravenna wars are like. It's basically one corridor down the side of the mountain, perfect for AoE use, as there's no real room to avoid it. But in Sameria there's huge expanses of wilderness, perfect for huge fights, which we'll see more of with higher tiers. And for bounty hunts, Vetex has said that we will be in Sameria for a lot of the Nimbus C story, meaning people will be there very often. So bounty hunts will often just be in Sameria. While Ravenna is where a lot of bounty hunts take place, there isn't much reason to be there. In fact, outside of PvP, I'd reckon most of the time people spend in Ravenna is preparing to leave it, prepping cargo, getting ready for Dark Sea, etc. But with Sameria, many people are going to be there all the time just playing the game. So if you're doing a bounty hunt in the Nimbus Sea, there's a good chance they'll be at Sameria, and it'll actually be a fun and interesting search to find your target, instead of just running Ravenna laps like it is right now, actually feeling like a bounty hunt. And the island's towns will be much more interesting to fight in, with bigger open areas and far less restrictive terrain surrounding towns than Ravenna. Putting the PvE and PvP specific benefits aside, can we also just appreciate how beautiful this island is, and how hard Vetex worked to cook that beauty of an island? It ranges from a bleak desert to a Minecraft-esque plains biome, with rivers running through the island, like World of Magic had but so much better, with more detailed terrain and reworked water. And the towns too, they look so nice. When NPCs are added, it could probably feel as alive as World of Magic, even without all the interactability with the NPCs. But with that, I have nothing more to say. The Nimbus Sea looks beautiful as of yet, and I can't wait to see the completed update, hopefully before April. Thank you for watching, and maybe be so kind as to drop me a sub, and have a wonderful day.